Staying relevant after 60. How to keep growing in a changing world. There is a quiet fear many people carry, but rarely say out loud. The world is changing. Technology moves quickly. Conversations shift. Systems become digital. Ways of working, learning, connecting, and communicating keep evolving. And quietly, a question appears. Am I still keeping up? Not because you are competing with younger people, but because somewhere beneath that question is something more personal. Do I still belong in this changing world? That question can feel heavier after 60, because by this stage of life, you have already adapted to enormous change. You have learned new skills, solved problems, built relationships, raised families, survived setbacks, and grown through entire seasons of life. But modern culture often confuses speed with value. It celebrates whatever is newest, fastest, and most visible. And when the world starts acting as though only the newest voice matters, it can make experience feel invisible. But staying relevant after 60 is not about trying to become younger. It is not about chasing every trend, joining every platform, or learning every new piece of technology. It is about continuing to grow on your terms. What relevance really means. Relevance is not knowing every trend. It is not speaking the newest language of the internet, and it is certainly not proving that you can keep up with people half your age. That game never ends, and honestly, it is exhausting. Real relevance is much simpler. It means you are still engaged with life, still thinking, still learning, still observing, still participating, still contributing, still willing to adapt when something truly matters. Earlier in life, growth is often forced upon us. School forces us to learn. Work forces us to adapt. Children force us to grow. Bills and responsibilities keep us moving. But later in life, some of that external pressure begins to fade. That can feel freeing. But there is also a danger. Without meaningful stimulation, the mind can become narrower. Without challenge, confidence can quietly weaken. Without exposure to new ideas, the world can begin to feel farther away than it really is. Not because you have lost your ability, but because you may have lost the friction that once kept you growing. Sometimes people do not decline because they are incapable. They decline because they stopped being invited into growth. Your brain can still change. Here is one of the most important truths in this conversation. Your brain does not stop being capable of change after 60. Yes, the brain ages. Learning may take longer. Remembering new steps may require more repetition. And unfamiliar technology may feel less intuitive than it once did. That part is real. But slower does not mean broken. Slower does not mean incapable. And slower certainly does not mean finished. The brain can continue building and strengthening pathways through challenge, repetition, attention, and meaningful activity. That is neuroplasticity. Not magic, not eternal youth. Simply the brain responding to how it is being used. Many people make the mistake of interpreting difficulty as decline. It took me longer to learn that, so I must be losing it. I felt clumsy using that new tool, so I must be too old. I forgot the instructions the first time, so maybe learning is no longer for me. No, that conclusion is too fast. Sometimes learning takes longer because your brain is working at a different tempo. And while speed may change, other abilities often deepen. Judgment, perspective, pattern recognition, emotional intelligence. The ability to understand context. You may not learn exactly as you did at 25, but you can still learn deeply, and sometimes more meaningfully. Stop trying to keep up with everything. A healthier question is not, how do I keep up with everything? It is, what is worth staying connected to? That shift changes everything. Because trying to follow every update, platform, argument, tool, and trend will wear out your nervous system. There is too much noise, too many opinions, too many notifications, too many people pretending that urgency is intelligence. You do not need all of it. You need discernment. What is useful for your life? What helps you communicate with the people you love? What supports your independence? What keeps your mind active? What allows you to contribute? Those are the things worth learning. Maybe it is learning how to video call your grandchildren. Maybe it is understanding online banking. Maybe it is trying artificial intelligence. Maybe it is learning a new language, joining a class, navigating a health portal, or exploring a subject that has always interested you. You do not need to become an expert. You simply need to remain willing to begin. And beginning almost always feels awkward. That discomfort is not proof that you should stop. It is part of learning at every age. Your mind needs fresh input. The brain likes familiar patterns, but it also needs novelty. Not chaos, not constant disruption, just fresh input. A new idea, a new route, a new conversation, a new skill, a new environment. A different way of solving an old problem. Novelty wakes up attention. It interrupts autopilot and asks the brain to create a new map. One of the easiest ways to become mentally stale is to allow every day to become completely predictable. The same routine, the same people, the same media, the same thoughts, the same reactions, the same conclusions. Routine can provide stability, but too much sameness can slowly narrow the mind. You do not need to reinvent your whole life. You just need to give your mind work worth doing. Read something that stretches your thinking. Learn how one new tool works. Take a class. Try a different recipe. Visit somewhere unfamiliar. Join a meaningful discussion. Practice a skill. Teach someone something you know. Growth does not only come from consuming more information. It comes from using your mind with purpose. Stay in conversation. Staying relevant is not only intellectual, it is relational. You stay mentally alive when you remain in exchange with other people, talking, listening, asking questions, sharing experiences, allowing yourself to be surprised. That includes talking with people from different generations. Younger people may understand newer systems and technologies, but older adults often bring judgment, context, patience, perspective, and lived experience. Both matter. The world does not only need quick minds, it needs grounded minds. It does not only need novelty, it needs wisdom. Isolation, however, can slowly shrink a person's world. Someone may begin by saying, "I prefer to keep to myself," and peaceful solitude can be healthy. But when solitude becomes withdrawal from people, ideas, and participation, confidence can begin to fade. The unfamiliar starts feeling more threatening. The outside world starts feeling more complicated. And eventually, retreat begins to feel like identity. Sometimes staying relevant is as simple as this. Stay in conversation. Not with everyone, not about everything, but enough to keep your mind moving and your world open. Purpose keeps you engaged. Human beings are not built only to observe life. We are built to contribute. After 60, contribution can become even more important because society often sends the false message that your most useful years are behind you. They are not. Contribution can look like mentoring someone, helping your family, volunteering, creating something, teaching, supporting a cause, starting a project, sharing knowledge you spent decades earning, or simply being the person who listens with patience and speaks with perspective. When people still see themselves as useful, they remain more connected to life. Purpose gives attention somewhere to go. It gives energy somewhere to land. It reminds the mind and body, I am still part of this. And that requires an important shift in identity. Instead of saying, I'm trying to keep up, say, I am someone who continues to grow. Instead of, the world is moving on without me, say, I learn at my own pace, but I do not opt out of life. Instead of, I'm too old for this, say, I may be new to this, but I am still capable of learning. That identity creates different behavior. You ask more questions. You avoid less. You become more patient with yourself, and you stop treating every struggle as evidence that you are declining. A practical way forward. So how do you stay relevant without becoming overwhelmed? Stay curious, not pressured. Pressure creates resistance. Curiosity creates movement. Choose one new thing to explore at a time. Do not avoid something simply because it feels unfamiliar. Approach it slowly. Ask for help. Write down the steps. Practice more than once. Use your experience as a filter. You do not need to absorb every trend. You have earned the right to ask. Is this useful? Does this improve my life? Does this help me connect, function, create, or contribute? If the answer is no, let it pass. But when something genuinely matters, do not allow fear or embarrassment to make the decision for you. Keep social contact alive. Keep your body moving. Protect your sleep. Teach what you know. And continue giving your mind meaningful challenges. Most importantly, refuse the lie that later life must become a season of shrinking. It can be a season of refinement, a season of depth, a season of clearer choices, a season of wiser growth. You do not need to move fast to stay alive inside. You do not need to prove that you are trendy, modern, or digitally fluent. You simply need to stay connected to what matters, to people, to purpose, to learning, to contribution, and to the world as it exists now, not only as it used to be. So if you have been feeling that quiet fear, that the world is moving too quickly, that perhaps you no longer fit the modern pace, hear this clearly. You are not behind. You are not outdated. You are not finished. You are simply in a different phase of growth. And this phase is not about speed. It is about depth. It is about choosing wisely. It is about continuing to learn without becoming frantic, and remaining present in a world that keeps changing. Because staying relevant is not about chasing every new trend. It is about staying curious, continuing to learn, and having the confidence to adapt without losing who you are. Growth does not end at 60, and your experience still has tremendous value in a changing world. In the next episode, we will explore legacy without pressure, what actually matters in the end. Because legacy is not only about what you leave behind, it is about how you live now, the love you give, the wisdom you share, the people you encourage, and the small moments that continue to matter long after they have passed. You do not need to build something enormous to have lived a meaningful life. Sometimes the greatest legacy is simply knowing that someone's life was better because you were part of it. Until then, stay curious, keep growing, and stay re-inspired.
I hope this video brought you value and re-inspired you. If so, please subscribe, hit like, and leave a comment. And if anybody you know could use a little re-inspiration, please send it to them. Thank you so much for watching.